Today we are discussing a very important topic, looking at the role of supply chain finance in strengthening working capital efficiency for buyers and their suppliers. There is increasing concerns or challenges around working capital, around cash flow, ensuring timely delivery of goods, and supply chain finance, the topic of the discussion today, can really help, I believe, alleviate and mitigate some of the challenges that the supply chain and the wider chain faces.
When we talk about supply chain finance, we're talking about the provision of finance to suppliers. Sometimes it's called supply chain finance, sometimes it's called payables finance, sometimes it's called buyer-led supplier finance, more commonly in this region. Essentially, all these programs have the same thing in common. It's where the buyer works with the bank to give suppliers the option of being paid for the invoices early. So if they were normally going to be paid on 30 or 60 or 90-day terms, then under this program, they can be paid much more quickly, maybe within days or a week. And, why is it relevant today? Well, it's very relevant today because we are seeing a lot of pressure on supply chains. We have, logistics bottlenecks and high costs of transportation, which is putting a lot of pressure on suppliers. There's a greater move to onshoring or nearshoring of supply chains. So suppliers are being asked to deliver more quickly or deliver more locally. We have just-in-time delivery models and logistics models supporting e-commerce. So the cycle time in terms of getting the product to the buyer is shortening.
Managing your suppliers, ensuring the healthiness, the financial healthiness of your supply chain is the essence of working capital management. So that's without supplier, there is no working capital from first place. By using a supply chain product or supply chain solution to secure your working capital or secure your supply chain, it gives you access to wider spectrum of suppliers. So you can diversify your supply base, and instead of focusing on one country or one region, you can move across. And while moving across, you negotiate payment terms, you negotiate commercial terms. This is a very good tool for you when you negotiate commercial terms, is you try to extend the payables. The more you extend the payable, the shorter your asset conversion cycle, your cash conversion cycle. Cash conversion cycle is basically from the minute you pay to the supplier until you manage to collect from your buyers.
Sometimes we forget that in many markets, suppliers struggle to raise working capital at a reasonable cost. And that can be because perhaps in that market there are very high interest rates. It could also be, structural conditions in that market that mean that, small and medium enterprises or suppliers aren't very well supported. And the idea is that through this program that you're able to deliver this finance, working capital, to the suppliers at a more reasonable cost.